It's to 8 o'clock. You're listening to me, Farzana, on BBC Three Counties Radio and BBC Radio Northampton. Now, last year we heard from a British South Asian man who developed a manual off-grid washing machine for people in displaced communities around the world. Nav Sawhney gave up his well-paying job as an engineer to set up the washing machine project, and they've recently secured funding to help get the machine out to more people around the world. Now, Nav joins me live on the line now. Good evening, Nav. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Farzana. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Now, what touched you so deeply that you were ready to give up your job and do this?
Well, yeah, I was on a sabbatical in South India making clean and efficient cook stoves. And then where I was staying in a village, I met my next-door neighbor, a lady called Divya. She was a 30-something stay-at-home mum, wanted to work but didn't have the time. She had 2 kids and was married at the age of 16. She spoke perfect English, and it was through Divya's friendship and also daily struggles of, just really simple tasks that I took for granted, like cooking and cleaning, that I promised her a manual washing machine on the back of seeing her hand wash her clothes for her family every single day.
Yeah.
And so it was that promise that really spurred me on to start the washing machine project.
Yeah. And washing clothes by hand, day in, day out, this is absolutely back-breaking work as well. Now, in terms of the washing machine, something that we would probably describe as, I guess in the West, as a common everyday appliance. Why is it so important to people in displaced communities?
Well, I think everyone deserves the dignity of clean clothes, right? And especially in displaced communities where so much trauma has come across them over time. Overnight, these people have lost their homes, and they find themselves in camps around the world. And this is a very kind of temporary phase in their life, and we're just at the washing machine project, we're just trying to alleviate the burden that they find in camps through these kind of really kind of low-tech appliances that really transform the way that they live their lives, so they don't have to get on their hands and knees. They don't have to spend so much time doing this activity.
And Nav, I really like the way that you said, everyone deserves the dignity of clean clothes. Absolutely. Now, how does the machine work in those conditions? You say that it's off-grid. How does it actually work?
Yeah, good question, Farzana. So it's a manual crank handle washing machine that has a very large drum capacity for large families. You, at the moment, you stand up while you use it, and it's a kind of broomstick motion, if you can imagine that. We actually named the prototype after the next door neighbor, my friend Divya, so it's called the Divya 1. But we're rolling out what is going to be Divya 2 now in August in refugee camps there in Iraq. Really exciting stuff.
Now you've just secured funding. What are the costs, and how is that money going to help the project?
Yeah, absolutely. We're pricing this really, really, really low to make it affordable for people that really need it. So these machines are £40 at scale. We believe that it will be one of the cheapest manual washing machines out there. Specifically designed for people in these contexts, like refugees. These costs are attributed to getting it to these places, getting them enough machines through to places where it's really hard to get to, like Mosul in Iraq, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, overall, what is the kind of the main aim, the big aim of the washing machine project? What's the big aim that you'd really like to see at the end of this?
I think this is a really transformative amount of funding that we've got. So we're managing to produce 7,500 washing machines over the next 3 years, and that is going to positively impact 100,000 people in 10 countries, and that's all thanks to the partnership that we have with Electro Components and the Washing Machine Project Foundation, which is a charity. And it's this, really life-saving funding that's really going to open our hands up a bit more, so we can develop a fantastic washing machine that's really just going to transform the lives of everyday people that just want to get on with their lives. And, we want to continue to innovate for these people. So we're already looking at other ways, like off-the-grid refrigeration systems, air conditioning units, and those kinds of things as well.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, that's interesting that you say that about refrigeration units. I mean, really important there. We're talking about trying to transport vaccines, to remote communities around the world. So yeah, that's very, very topical at the moment. In terms of the feedback that you've had for the washing machine, I mean, what's some of the feedback been like?
So I came on the show last year, and it was on the back of a pilot that we did with Oxfam, where we sent 50 machines to a camp in Mosul. And, in general, we had fantastic feedback. We saved 75% of time from 2 hours to about half an hour. We saved about 50% of water compared to hand washing clothes as well. And that was really brilliant feedback. But there's a lot of work to do. There's still massive social barriers. For example, my husband still wants me to wash clothes, for example. That's something that we had. And, we also had a really funny picture get sent to us about someone using our washing machine as a TV stand. So, there's still a lot of work to do. And we take a really passionate approach to listening to our user and our beneficiaries. So we've done 1,000 interviews in 11 countries so far, understanding the people who hand wash clothes, and we feed that back into our design.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. Now, I just want you to talk about your faith and the role, I guess, that plays in, I guess, your desire to develop this machine and just help women.
Yeah, I mean, so for me personally, my father died when I was 8 years old. He was born during partition in India, so he and his family had to flee the country with only the clothes on their back. So I know the struggles of refugees. I've seen it secondhand through my own family, and then I know the power of women. I've been born and brought up around women. I have 2 older sisters, and they've been phenomenally influential in my life. So I really credit everything I have to the women of my life, and it's really that understanding of selfless service and giving back to the community that's kind of guided me down this path. But I think the pandemic is a really good example of how amazing people can do amazing things, and we're seeing that right now with people collecting ventilators and vaccines and resources for India right now, and I think that's really important for the whole world to come together and help people that need it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Nav, thank you so much for joining us. People can find out more because there is, I think there's a web page, there's a Facebook page. There is also a web page as well that you have called The Washing Machine, I believe it's called. So, listeners can find out more about the machine there. Thank you so much. Yeah, and like you said, everyone deserves the dignity of clean clothes. I mean, that's such a powerful statement. It really is. Thank you so much, Nav. You take care.
Thank you, Farzana. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.